In this video, I'm going to show you how to download and install Node for either a Unix box or Linux or Mac. Those are all basically the same. I'm not going to go over Windows, but I'll briefly talk about it. The first thing you're going to want to do is download Node. So what I like to do is go to the web browser and go to Node.js.org. On here, it's going to tell us the current versions. There's this currently, as of the taping of this video, there's a 4.2.3 LTS and there's 5.1.1. The difference between these two, these are like this one is a long-term one, and so if you want something for production, something with that's dependable, then use this one. If you want something with like the latest features, then use this one. So if you're a company and you want like a stable one, then use this version. If you're just looking to develop and you want to run something on your local box, or you don't care about bleeding edge features, or if you want bleeding edge features, then you would choose something like this one. So I like bleeding edge, so we're going to choose this one. And so what I like to do is flip down here to other downloads and click on this, and so we can see all the possible ones. So let me just scan through this list and tell you what each one basically is. The Darwin one, that's Mac. So if you have a Mac, then you'd want to choose this one. This is the Mac 64-bit one, and then GZ, that's where this is gzip compressed, and this is XZ compressed. There's a higher compression ratio for these typically than gzipped, but it's the same file. Just one has it's just a different compression algorithm. And then right here, this, if you have Linux on an ARM-based chip, then you'd want to choose these. If you have Linux on an Intel chip, you'd want to choose these. Now this is the 64 is a 64-bit Intel chip, and then the x86 is a 32-bit Intel chip, and then this is Sun OS, either 64 or 32-bit. And then if you have Windows, all you basically have to do is just download this. This is the 64-bit or the 32-bit one for Windows. Just download it, double click it, and install. So it's that easy. And then if you want the source code, then you can download these two. These are the source codes. So this system that I'm on happens to be in Ubuntu 15.10. So and then 64-bit. So what I would choose here is Linux 64-bit, and I'm going to use the gzip compressed one. So I'm going to download it. You can see it's about 11.2 megabytes. And okay, so once it's downloaded, I don't really need this browser anymore, so let me get rid of that. Open up my terminal window, and so it probably went in my downloads folder, so I'm going to go cd downloads. And I can see here that this says Node version 5.1.1, Linux 64, so I know I downloaded the right one for my specific machine. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to uncompress this. So I want to like extract it. So you could obviously double click it. You could go into like your file manager here and downloads, and you could just double click that and uncompress it, or you could just use the terminal commands. So what I like to do is tar-xzvf on this node file right here, and this will unzip it. The Z unzips it, and then the rest extracts it. Extracts this file because it's a tar file. So it's going to run through and do that. Now, if I look at this or like this, you can see here's the original file, and then this is the extracted program. So if I cd into this node program right here, you can see that this is actually the whole Node the Node app. So the include directory, the lib directory, share, and then bin. These are your actual files. So so here's Node, and then here's npm. So Node obviously is the Node binary, and then npm is the Node package manager. So anytime you download Node, you obviously want npm as well too, and so that this comes with obviously both. Okay, now that you have it, the next thing we want to do is install it. Now, sometimes people install code to slash user local node. That's one place you could put it at, and that's a pretty popular place. Another place that seems to be gaining traction is creating a local folder called .local, and like this, and then putting your node stuff inside that. And so that's what we're going to do. So, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you could put it under slash user local node, or you could put it in your root directory slash .local, basically. That's where I'm going to put it at. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, I'm going to go back to my home directory, which I'm in right now, and I need to make that directory because it doesn't exist. So I would say mkdir dot local. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, it turns out that folder already exists. If it didn't exist, then obviously you would create it, but it looks like it already exists for me, so no big deal. But if it didn't, obviously just make it. Inside this local folder, what I like to do is create another folder called install, and this folder. So this is So let me show you my my working directory. So this is my home directory. I have a directory called local, a .local, which is a hidden, basically it's a hidden directory. And then inside here I have this install thing. So this install directory. So what I like to do is put all my apps that I want to install, basically bring them in, put them inside of here. Like I said, you can put in user local node or user local whatever, but I used to do that, and now I'm starting to put them in here. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I want to put node inside of here. So I'm going to do some Unix stuff. So I'm going to say I want to move, and I'm going to go back to my downloads folder, and then I have this node folder, and I want to move that to here. I could say move it to here, but I want to rename it node. And so that basically moves the file, moves the folder from the downloads to here. So if you go back to the downloads, it doesn't exist anymore because it's gone because it was moved. And then we renamed it. So basically it's a move and a rename. So now if I cd into node like this, then you can see there's all the files in here, and that looks good. So that looks pretty great. Let's go back to the home directory. But let's say I wanted to run node. So I would type in node, and I'd hit enter, and it says node is not installed. So you may be thinking, well, I thought I just put node on my system. Why doesn't it know where it is? The reason is in Unix, or really in any system, Windows or whatever, when you type in a program name, what happens is the system actually looks for this thing in the path. The path is basically where to look. Basically, it's a list of directories to try and find this thing. And currently, the system doesn't know about .local /install /node. It doesn't know about that. So you have to tell it about it. So if you want to know what your system path is, then type in echo $path, and this shows you all the directories that this shows you all the directories that your system looks in. So /user /local /sbin /user /local /bin /user /sbin /user /bin. So if you look through all these, you can see that .local .install /install /node, that's not in here. So basically I need to put it in here. Now you could edit this. This is called an environment variable. You could edit this thing manually right here, but you probably want a more long-term solution. And typically what people do is they create bash files, configuration files. So I have one. I'm going to edit this thing using VI. It's called bash profile. And so what this does is this is a file right here where I can actually edit or update my update my path, and so it knows about Node. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to create a variable called local that just points to my install directory. So what I'd probably want to do is something like export local, and you have to, when you create these environment variables, they should be uppercased, is equal to, now there is a pre-built environment variable called home. Home means your home directory, so wherever you're at. So if you're logged in, if you log into 10 different accounts, the home will change depending on your account. So so wherever I'm logged in at, my home directory, slash dot local slash install. And so what this will point at is mine, which is like slash home slash child slash dot local slash install. So that points to that, but then Node is underneath that. So what I want to do is create another environment variable called node path and set it equal to $local. It's kind of recursive, so this thing refers to this, which is this. So that's that. So this is slash node slash bin. So all the node node stuff, either node or npm, those binaries are underneath slash node slash bin. So now I've created these two things. So let's say I were to save that :w, and then shift you can do :wq, that quits out. So if I want to check these variables, I could say echo $node path, like that, and it's blank. The reason is you have to reload your bash variable. Now you can type in source.bash profile if that's one way, and it shows up. See that? Or another way, just a simpler way, I suppose, is just to close your terminal and open up again. So you can see now when I say echo node path, it says home child dot local slash install slash node slash bin. So that is exactly where my node program is. If you don't believe me, I can just type in cd $node path, and it takes me right there. So it takes me right there, and then I can see, so there's node and there's npm. Okay, so that's pretty good. But my path variable, has that been updated? And so you can look on here and you can see, no, it hasn't been updated. So I need to update, one last thing is I need to update my path variable. So I'm going to say vi, I'm going to go back into this thing. Now I'm going to say path, export path. So I'm going to change path. So path is already equal to, if I say it's equal to path, what that's basically doing is creating a variable called path, and well, it's basically updating. Here's path, and it's just updating it. So this actually won't make any changes on it at all. What I like to do is put my node path right before this. So when I type in a program, I want it to look in my node thing first, and then look at this last. Sometimes, like let's say for example, you install Git. Well, Git may be installed in your system somewhere, and you may have installed like a newer version later on. What's going to happen is if you put this thing first, let's say $git path, for example, it will not find yours, because what happens is when the system wants to find something, it goes linear, goes this thing and then this thing, but well, these directories and then this directory. So if you have something that's newer here, but if it found an older version in any of these directories, then the old version will always get executed and not the new version. So I always like to put like possible newer stuff before the path, so that gets resolved first. So I want to put $node path here. And so what this does is it puts node first, and then it says, well, if whatever you're looking for is not in this directory, then go ahead and look in the rest of the system directories. Okay, so all right, so let's write and then quit. Get out of there. and then I'll just close that, come back again. Now, if I type in echo $path, you can see that it says home child.local/install node bin, right? So here's the node, here's the path to the node binary, and then here's the rest of the path. Here's the rest of it. So you can see that this actually worked. So now if I were to type in node, look, it found it. And I can control C twice to get out. I can type in node -- version, and this is 5.11, that's what version I had. Or I can type in npm version, so this is the version of npm. So yeah, we're ready to go now. So if I want to make a directory, let's call it temp, for example, I could do an npm init, and I can create some package JSON file. There it is. And then I could install some node package. I don't know, like let's say Lodash, for example. npm install Lodash. So that would install Lodash. So another good thing about putting your node in this .local is you don't require any super user privileges. Oh, sorry. Let me say that again. When you just install something like Lodash, for example, it's going to put in this node modules. But if you were to install Mocha, let's say, npm install Mocha, but you wanted that to be global, you would say -g. Now some systems, if you put node in a place where it's protected by the system, you would have to type in like sudo that, and that just ends up being a pain in the butt, and sometimes you run into permission problems. So I like to put node in .local, so therefore when you install things globally, there's no permission problems and you don't have to do sudo. Anytime you don't have to do sudo is better than it's better to not do sudo than doing that. So that's another reason why I like to put my node in .local. So that's it. Node seems to be working. Let's see, X. Now this has some of the newer ES6 features in it, like I can create an arrow function, like var f is equal to a function that prints out 3. That's kind of crazy. So if I run this function here, it prints out 3. So you can see, yeah, I did install Node, and it is a newer version because, for example, it's using the ES6 arrow function syntax. And that's it. When you're done, you can just Control C twice, and that's it. So that's how you install Node on any type of system, Linux system or Mac or BSD or any type of Unix system. Like I said, if you're on Windows, just double click the MSI file and it'll install it from there.